NFL top 100 list. Now fully out?
Kind of. We don't know the order of the last 6 players to be named. We know who they are.
Okay.
So those are how they're going to unveil them coming out. Here is the current state of things. The top 10 is on your left. The Cowboys players that did make the list on the top 100 are on the right. So Josh Allen, Myles Garrett, Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson, which is interesting. He's in top 6 territory.
I'm about to have a panic attack that Patrick Mahomes is not on there.
He was 18th, but he was also injured last year, so that's part of it. But Jackson Smith and Jigba obviously making the cracking the top 10 here. Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, Micah Parsons, even though he was injured, top 10. Jahmyr Gibbs, Patrick Surtain rounds out the top 10. Meanwhile, your Cowboys players, Dak Prescott, the highest ranked at 31. George Pickens at 36, and CeeDee Lamb a ways down at 55. Dak Prescott, there were 5 quarterbacks ahead of him on this list. I'm curious if you guys can name the other 3, because Allen, Stafford, the other 2, because Allen, Stafford, and Mahomes I mentioned was 18. So who are the other 2 do you guys think?
Allen, Stafford,
Sam Darnold.
Mahomes.
Sam Darnold.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar was like in the 60s.
Justin Herbert?
Nope.
Burrow.
Nope. Burrow was below by, I think, 4 or 5 spots.
Okay. Who are we missing? Drake May.
No way, it's Brock Purdy.
Drake
May.
May.
Yeah, Drake May at 11 because he was the MVP runner-up, so he had some some credit. He just missed the cut on this list.
No, that's recent. I mean, that 6-ish range is where basically every quarterback ranking that we've seen, he's been somewhere between basically 5 and 8.
Right.
Dak?
And that, yeah. I don't even know that I've seen him 8. I think it's been like 5, 6, or 7 in every single one.
Yep. And I think most people think of it in terms of the 4 AFC quarterbacks, and then you throw it. I say 4, but you throw Stafford into that top 5 group, and Dak is either 5th or 6th, depending on how, whether people still think highly of Burrow, whether they think Lamar's going to take a step back, whatever.
Right.
Someone will switch out of that, and he remains in that 5-6 spot.
Yeah, which is about where I think he should be.
The more interesting component to that is when Dak was revealed at 31, the question was this the highest Cowboy that was going to be on the list? So
I thought no.
Right, and I think there was a decent chunk, and we had Saad Youssef on, Cowboys writer for The Athletic, and he kind of detailed it's like him, Quinnen Williams being the name that we're thinking was going to make above 31. It was equally possible that he was going to be above Dak or off the list entirely, which that's only because his stats didn't necessarily line up with his performance. And also, he was on the Jets for the first half of the year. And you can be irrelevant on a bad team and then come over on a Cowboys defense that, yes, improved, but still had the moniker as being one of the worst units in the league, right?
Yeah.
So you're juggling reputationally something that probably isn't fair for him and how he played last year. But you can definitely see his impact on how the team functions around him. Even when they came back from the bye week, there was a noticeable jump in defensive performance toward the tail end of the year. So I don't think necessarily this is a mark against him. It is just interesting though that he wasn't 90. He wasn't, anywhere in that range.
Anywhere on the top 100.
Yeah.
Right around the same time that Dak was named 31 and we were having this conversation, there was another outlet that named him the number 1 defensive lineman in the entire sport.
Right, yeah.
That guy's not in the top 100 anywhere? That's a little puzzling, but again, there were at least reasons. There was some logic to how this could happen.
Yeah.
I still don't think it's correct.
These rankings are voted on by players, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's where it becomes really surprising because I think anyone who's gone up against him, whether you're an offensive lineman yourself or just lining up against a team that has Quinnen Williams on it. Yes, the Jets, bad, objectively, always, but he's not.
But there are 3, just for clarity, there's 3 defensive tackles that made the list, right? Jalen Carter was the highest at 29, Chris Jones at 43, and Jeffrey Simmons for the Titans at 83.
See, I would put him above.
At least Simmons, I would
Simmons,
think.
yeah.
If he slots in the 80s, I don't think this is even a
Chris
discussion.
Jones is
No, yeah, that would be just have him on the list.
Right.
It
Chris
doesn't
Jones-
have to be above Dak. It just
Right.
I think Chris Jones is on there because he's been consistently so good.
Yes. Oh, that's the difference. With players, it's like part reputational, part
Yeah.
exactly what they did last year.
Yeah.
There's weird variation on that front.
Yeah, but I would just think that that's very much an equivalent to Quinnen, from just a consistently being that good standpoint.
Yeah.
But
No, 100%.
very interesting.